I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't think there was any point, but to be clear, I haven't watched the show since the first episode of season 4. I don't know why. I think it's just because maybe it was the writing or something. I just sort of didn't want to watch it anymore. But I did want to keep on tabs on how the relationship was going because I did really, really like that relationship. But I got a bit tired of it in a way because it was almost like Eve was always going to be like righteous about her being better than Villanelle and Villanelle being crazy when she's the exact same as Villanelle. I kind of got sick of that dynamic not changing. So I think that the season could have started with them like realizing that, you know, they're the exact same. Eve's not better than Villanelle and Villanelle's not better than Eve and all that. All in all, I feel like that could have been like the start of the season, really, not just by retconning everything by the bridge and having them walk away from each other. But I had to say something, even though I've stopped watching the show. It's not something that you can do to people. I've just become so numb to it that it doesn't even faze me anymore. That's how bad it is. You know, having the lesbians have their first kiss or their first sex scene and then killing them off literally 5 minutes afterwards. I'm going to be totally honest. I never shipped Clark and Lexa. I mean, I liked them, but I never found Lexa that interesting. I'm just going to say it now. I found it interesting in a way that I liked the actress and I liked how Alicia portrayed Lexa, but I never really liked her with Clark, if that makes sense. I mean, I thought they had great chemistry, but I never and when people got upset when she died, I felt upset for them. Not every queer person is going to like the same ship. But I understand why people got upset about her death. And I stopped watching the show out of respect for my community because it upset a lot of people. And the way it was written was just awful. It was just badly written. Like she gets shot when she's like a commander leader of an army. And she just gets shot by a gun. That's just so lazy. Now I just found out that a show that I've stopped watching, they just had their first kiss and then she got shot. That's such a lazy tactic. People just use it because they want to do bury your gays trope because they'll think it'll please like the queer audience and then it'll please the homophobic audience by having her die literally moments afterwards. That's why the bury the gays existed. Back from like the early books in like 1800s or something by Carmilla that came before Dracula, where they made Carmilla just almost like a creeper that was stalking Laura, and they killed Carmilla in the end. Lesbianism was portrayed as the devil almost. And that was a way to get lesbianism past the censors, or the book readers, the critics back then. They had to die at the end for it to be acceptable, for any sort of representation. But now it's different now. I feel like so much has changed in the last 20 years. We have come so far, we're just taking baby steps. It's almost like 2 steps forward in the right direction and 2 steps back. And it's like no one properly addresses this. We can like fight for it and like create charities and whatever. We create Lexicon, which I don't really like Lexicon, but I understand why it exists. Like she's a figure for the lesbian community or whatever. I never really considered her a lesbian thing. I think Xena Warrior Princess is much better representation than whatever happened in the 100. Even before she got killed off. Xena Warrior Princess will always be better representation than Clark Alexa, I'm just saying. Even though it was like explicit subtext, it was still better representation than Clark Alexa, I'm just saying. But that's just my opinion, that's how I feel. But how I feel about this finale is I'm angered. I think it's so disrespectful. Because you can't just do that in the last episode and then kill her off. What are you smoking right now? Are you on something, you writers? Have you learned anything? It's so hard to stay stable as a queer person in this world where everywhere around you is telling you that you're confused. And even the representation that we do get, it's half-hearted. It's like, here you go, here's your lunch, get what you're given. And the things that we do like, that we do choose to like, they get killed off. I often sort of think to myself why I never label to myself. And I think the reason why I never can label myself, it's really hard to stay stable as a queer person. It's really hard not to be confused about your sexuality every single day when you're just bombarded by straight culture everywhere you look. And the release that you do get it gets taken away from you. This is really hard to speak because I know there are some countries where it's illegal, and I can't just like, oh my god, I'm whining about like a character being killed off when people are literally getting thrown off cliffs for being gay. It's not good to sort of complain about something when people have it so much worse. It's not at the end of the world, but it's a minor convenience and it will hurt a lot of people. And I just feel like you can't do a slow burn and then like just kill her off in like 5 minutes. That's just lazy writing. It makes me want to write my own stories about gay people. It's given me this motivation to make this video and to make sure that myself as a career, because I'm a filmmaker and a writer myself, it makes me want to be motivated to make real queer stories where they don't get killed off. But I mean, people die. Humans die. That's inevitable. That's always going to happen. But not 5 minutes before the end of the show. I mean, seriously, that's just crap writing. And you kill her off in the most lazy way ever by lesbian gets shot by a bullet. So original. It's been happening since the dawn of time. Oh my god, I'm so pissed right now. So pissed. You know what I'm going to do, Killing Eve writers? I'm going to write my own story. I'm going to write my own queer, slow burn story with complex characters. And I'm going to do it so much better than you. So piss off. Goodbye. I'm out.